these ICE raids, these immigration official raids on places of worship, and the threat of this, and how the community, the Sikh community, have responded to this. And we did report that the Sikh community were actually taking legal action. They were joining a sort of a party action against the Trump administration, particularly the Department of Homeland Security, to try and legally prevent, to injunct these raids on places of worship. Now, this was it was a case that was started by the Quaker movement in the US. And of course, it's been joined by various other organisations as part of this sort of almost a class action. And Gurdwara in California joined this almost as a test case, really, to say, look, you know, also our Gurdwaras, we fear that our Gurdwaras are going to be raided by the officials, the Department of Homeland Security. So we want a legal injunction to prevent them being able to do this. So it does appear that they have won this first step. This first legal step has been actually won, because a judge has reported over the last day or two, by AP actually, that this first judge has now blocked this Trump immigration policy allowing arrests in churches for some religious groups. And as it reports, a federal judge blocked immigration agents from conducting enforcement operations in houses of worship for, and it specifically says, Quakers and a handful of other religious groups. And of course, it's the Quakers that took the head of this specific legal case. US District Judge Theodore Chang found that the Trump administration policy could violate their religious freedom and should be blocked while a lawsuit challenging it plays out. So basically, it's a temporary block, but it's basically saying, no, you've got to stop until the final lawsuit can actually be played out and a final judgment be made. So it is essentially, it is like an injunction saying we're going to temporarily hold it until a proper legal decision can be made. So this preliminary injunction from the judge only applies to the plaintiffs, and of course those people who specifically are involved in this case, which also includes a Georgia-based network of Baptist churches and the Sikh temple, or we'll call it a Sikh temple, at Sikh Gurdwara in California. Now there are a few specific legal details of this, and the policy change said that field agents using common sense and discretion can conduct immigration enforcement operations at houses of worship without a supervisor's approval. Now, this is the key wording here. Previously, as the law stands in the US, is that any raid on any place of worship can take place, but with a supervisor's approval. This policy change that Trump has brought in, saying you don't need the supervisor's approval, low level, basically anybody in law enforcement can, on their arbitrary opinion, launch a raid. So that's the decision, that's the policy change that they're actually fighting.